Kia ora, Scraptember day 19, Lara here, and I am going to share another layout that I'm creating for my 8.5 by 11 album of my adventures on the Copeland track. So this photo that I am working with today is a photo of when we are leaving the hut. So heading away from the hut, this is sort of the track you go on. You sort of, the track's quite interesting in the way it changes along. There's different types of track that you're walking on. You're sort of walking beside the river, or you're walking on really formed trails, and then there's a sort of track just in the grass, just sort of a kind of thin sort of a goat track kind of all the way along, and it's just quite distinctive seeing the different parts of the track and the different stages of the walk. So I have chosen here to work with I think this page was all about scraps. So I have delved into my scraps container and, oh no, maybe it's paper tearing. I need to go back and check that. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. But I did follow the theme and I'm not sure if it was paper tearing or if it's scraps, but I have used both for this one. So I'm going to do some layers here with some different patterned papers. So I have got a mix in here, as well as a trails camping type one, which fits really nicely with the theme or the idea of this album, and I'm just going to stick that down the bottom here, but I feel that the background just needs a little bit more, so I'm going to use some of the colours that are kind of in the photograph. I'm going to use the blues, I think, because they are sort of up the top, but my brush is a bit dirty. I have been just using it and not really cleaning it between times, so just a good opportunity to brush off some of the water paints here before I'm sort of going to splatter that on the background. So I'm going to sort of use a few of the different blues, just sort of the same sky colour, and just tapping that reasonably randomly, just getting a bit more dynamic splatter there by just using the brush rather than tapping it on the pencil. But I use 3 different blues, so use sort of the lighter blue, slightly darker one, and then a darker one again, just to get that tone or just a little bit of interest, because otherwise you've just got a boring white background, and that's really cool if you're looking for a really clean image. But we know that tramping and getting out into New Zealand's outdoors generally isn't that really clean cut look, so I thought while I had that wet wipe that I might as well clean the trays up a little bit. It's been well used lately. So I'm going to let that sort of dry, but I want to add another little tier. So since the theme kind of, I think, is paper tearing, I do need to go back and check that. I decide to add a little bit of a tier up the top as well, and I'm just going to tuck some of this patterned paper in there as well. So I'm using the reverse side of that main pattern that's down the bottom, and I'm just going to tuck that up there just for a little bit of interest, sort of got that bottom and then drawing up into that top piece there. So really liking how that's looking, and I am going to add something up there a little bit later on just to add a little bit more interest to it. So I'm going to stick down this sort of layered base piece that I tore and pop that on there and press that down a bit. So I've got my base and I'm quite happy with that. Now I'm going to work on my sort of photo layers and clusters. So I am going to stick this onto some white daisy cardstock, and then I will trim around that. So I am in yet another hotel room working on this layout, so you can sort of see that shiny black table in the background there. What is it about hotels and black glass tables? Not quite sure. It does wipe down really easy. You saw me doing the paint splattering there before. Glass tables are great when it comes to wiping them down, so yeah, anyway, so I'm just trying to work out this photo mat, whether I'm going to keep that as it is, and I decide just to keep that yellow piece there. It ties in nicely with the yellow bits in that base paper and that sort of patterned paper with the tents and stuff like that all over it, but I'm not going to put that on there super evenly. I'm going to leave it sort of tucked out to the side so it isn't perfect. So I have got the photo. I do keep the photo square on, but I have that piece of pattern paper sort of tilting off to the left. I'm sort of looking at it at this point thinking, yeah, I've got that yellow and I've got a bit of yellow there, and I'm going to need something else in here. So sort of play around with those thoughts in my head and work out what I'm going to do with the title and stuff. So the wood grain alpha that's just there has a nice has that warm colour that I brought in with those papers, but I found a stamp set that I think I'm going to tuck in here. Going to use this set, sort of 2 different stamps from it in a couple of different places, and I'm just using the wee ink cube here that came with my card subscription that I get, and just stamping up those with that black ink. And one says Happy Trails, and then I wasn't going to necessarily use this other one, but I decide to use the one that says Get Lost. So this is the circle one up here. I just felt like they needed some more visual weight up the top. It just needed a little bit of something up there near that paper tear, just to draw your eye back to it, or to just create a bit more interest in there. So I used the foam stamp backing because I was just doing a little area on the back of that White Daisy cardstock. So you'll just see that foam stuff that I put up there. It just helps to get a really nice even even impression. So I've also got the sort of locator geotag there. So I've added 3 stamps onto this page, which I quite like doing every now and then, and I'm surprised I haven't done it more at this point. So because I've put the Happy Trails there as a stamp, I don't actually need to add another title. The title is sorted. I did sort of toy with doing the journaling down the bottom there, but I felt just popping it up here near the tier. It wasn't a lot of journaling that I wanted for this layout, but it was enough. So I'm going to pull out some of the shapes that I've got here, some acrylic dots, and I'm using sort of the bluey, one of the sort of more true blue type stars and things on there. So happy with how that's looking, and yeah, hope you've enjoyed watching this too. Check out the Scraptember playlist below and see what everyone else is up to. If you've enjoyed this, subscribe so you don't miss any more, and just want to say thanks for watching this video.